Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Knowledge of neural pathways and the brain, and it's integrated fortunately, into the culture, into everyday culture. And I wonder how you see that development, and how has that helped? And I'm putting this out to all the speakers. How has that helped what you do? Have you found any misconceptions out there that you kind of have to come back around with people? So while we have you, Angela, I'll start with you, but then I'd love to have everybody bring in on that.
Oh, great. Yeah, there's lots of misconceptions in our culture, especially around the body. People are just, as I think Shane mentioned, we go to these people to fix us, and, that we want the drive-through fix-it pill and think that that's going to help. Well, I've seen my clients in one lesson, yes, feel amazing change. But in order for change to stick, to really be embodied, it takes time. And people just think, it should just happen. And it doesn't. They think that, I've got a dicky knee, or I've got a sore hip, and they'll go to the doctor, and the doctor will say, just don't move it. And that's probably the worst thing they can do. Or the doctor will say, go and stretch it out. And we actually know now that stretching does not do what we once thought it did. So, yeah, between stretching and pain management, misconceptions, there's so much. But I truly believe that, as we've all seen here, and the reason why this summit festival has come together, is there is a change happening. People are seeking real depth change, because the old self-care techniques are not working now, especially because of what we've been through with the pandemic. We need to do the deeper work on ourselves, and it does come from us. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
Thank you very much. Delphine, how about you? You have something to ring in on there?
Yes, thank you. I like to say that in this world, we are often looking for instant gratification. And very often when people come, they thought, fix me quick. I want it fast. But it's like you're drawing a line. If you miss, let's say you're asked to draw like a 45 degrees, but if you miss by 1 degree, you draw 46 degrees. The longer you draw the line, the further apart you are from your original position. So it does take time. Make it a daily practice. And it is the small habits that actually can change your world. And it's not a one overnight thing that, this change can take place. So 1 minute a day can do wonders if you take time to even do it, but you have to do it consistently. So consistency is the key.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Robin?
Well, I think all of us will have all been on this same path, and to be where we're at today, we've all put in a lot of commitment. So without a doubt, commitment, conviction, and just not taking a little bit and then thinking that's the be all and end all. So the advice definitely is, we've all been convicted, we've all been committed to our pathway. In order for us to anchor this wisdom, to activate it, and to embody it, maintain it, and sustain it deeply within, it does definitely take a lot of heartfelt conviction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to say, when you talked about the exhaustion on the spiritual path, and it reminded me of the word surrender, where you just get to a point where you're just kind of done. And it's that very moment and that very realization and admitting yourself that just opens the whole universe to everything to come in. And it's such a contradiction, because you never give up, right? And especially in American culture, surrender is just a 4-letter letter word. So, but in spirit, in our spiritual life, we've come to realize there's that moment where you just need to give it over. And when you do, it just expands everything. So I really like the way that you described that, and explained it, that resting in a space of emptiness is, I appreciated that very much, very much. How about Angela? Let's see.
I think I've said something.
Yeah, okay, we've got
Shane.
Shane.
Michelle.
Oh, Shane, yeah.
Thank you, Deb. You talk about retreating and going within. It was actually a great lesson from Jesus, was when he was with the multitudes, when he'd been giving out of himself, he would go and retreat, and the disciples would be looking for him, going, where is he? And he would be off somewhere by himself, reconnecting and restoring and retreating. And the seventh principle of shamanism is that effectiveness is the measure of truth. So what's manifesting around you is really confirming or denying what you're saying. It's either supporting what you're saying, it's either confirming that what you're doing is right, or it is calling you out as a fraud. So I think, that is a good measure. Like, by being able to look at what's going on around you and what's manifesting in this physical realm based on your what you're saying and what you're thinking and what you're doing, what you're practicing, that is going to call you out, or it's going to confirm that you're in the right space, in the right place. And Deb, you are 100% right. People see retreating or quitting as a weakness, but I like to view it as a strength, because to go within and to withdraw and to retreat when it's required, and it's required often, as Michelle pointed out, I was talking about self-care, and so was Angela, and so was Robin, and so was definitely. It's like, that is what we need to do. It's taking responsibility. And quitting when you're on the wrong path is the smartest thing you can possibly do. It's not a sign of weakness.
Right. So many people think they have to just dig in. It's like, oh, I made this decision, I've done all of this. And it's like, nope, not necessarily. Not if it isn't getting you where you want to go. But thank you for that. Michelle?
Could you repeat the question, Deb? Because I'm not sure that I fully caught the question.
I think I've come around full circle and almost forgot my question.
Okay.
Let's see, with about retreat and surrender. But I also like when you talked about, and I mentioned a little bit about it, giving up all hope, forgiveness, the importance of forgiveness, and giving up all hope of a better past. What a wonderful way to put that. Again, working with recovering people and finding that there are some of the programs, and I am not here to bash the 12 steps. I love the steps and traditions, but there's an emphasis on continuing to reinforce the past. It's like, if you forget your past, you'll go back to it, and it's like, then you're just you're refreshing and renewing all those neural nets. So that idea of forgiveness is so important. And I would like to see more of that. And I'd love to hear you talk more about that in your experience of working with people.
I think that the biggest problem that we have, really, or we have so many problems really on the planet. One of the biggest things that I see that's problematic, that perhaps is shifting, is this kind of epidemic of the victim consciousness. And I'm hoping that as everything that's happening evolves, people will take more responsibility for themselves. And of course, it's a natural part of the healing journey. It's a natural stage of anyone's journey to go, oh wow, this thing happened, and it's really hurt me, and I'm really devastated. And of course, this should always be validated and explored and felt and so on. But there comes a point when you have to, see that as part of the tapestry of your life that maybe made you who you are, but it doesn't define you. And I see a lot of people getting stuck in, just living from victim consciousness, creating an identity around this thing happened to me and it was so difficult. And I think that it's something, I see it slowly starting to kind of become part of the conversation, but it's an epidemic on social media, and it's what's expected of us in society. I think I mentioned, we have a very litigious culture. The medical establishment and a lot of therapies really, the whole point of it is to bring someone in and to give them a label and a diagnosis and focus on all the bad stuff that happens. And I think going forward, we all need to practice more being the fullness of who we are. And the pain has its place, but that's, I think, the only way we're going to really move forward in this society at every level, especially with what we're seeing right now going on, is to really take full responsibility for yourself and step into being your greatest self rather than the small parts of you. And I'm not saying it's easy, it's always a journey, but it's just so powerful when you can do that. I was reading a book the other day, and a guru said to his disciple, she said, "Oh, look, I'm here searching because of this abuse that happened, with my father and so on." And he said, "And when are you going to let go of that? Like maybe 15 minutes before you die, maybe 2 hours before you die, maybe you'll give it a year where you won't." And it completely changed her life. And it's a message I'd love to be able to say to people, but in a very, empathetic and loving way, like, yeah.
Fantastic. So, do any of you have questions or comments that you would like to share with each other? We're thinking.
I'll just add on to what Michelle said. Very often, all of us are looking to avoid pain. But what if we decide that I'm not avoiding pain, but I'm embracing my pain? Very often, the stress comes up also because we are here wishing that we are there. But if we stay in this moment and say, I embrace this pain, and what is this pain trying to teach me? What is this emotion trying to teach me? What's the gift in this pain? Then it's a lot easier for us to embrace our pain. And even when we look back, we can say, I'm thankful that experience. I don't wish it happened to anyone, but now that it happened for me, I'm going to embrace it and look for the seed of gift in this pain that I've been trying to avoid. But now I'm embracing it. And along with it, I'm going to find that gift, and I'm going to find that gift that is so precious to me. Just like how I embraced this episode of my daughter's suicide attempt. It was painful, yes, but when I look back, I wouldn't have changed anything in the world, because it opens up a whole new world for me. I think a lot of the presenters here, even for those who are listening into your pain, and that moment that when you feel you're most painful, very often when you give it chance, that could be the pivotal moment, the life-changing moment that changed your life around and gives you a whole new world.
Thank you. I think someone brought it up. It's how we label ourselves, how someone else will label us, and then we carry that with it. Like in working with kids at camp, they'll very proudly walk up and say, "I'm a problem child." And it's like, well, who gave you that label? And you find out they're just witty, and they're intuitive, and they're energetic, and and you work with that. How much do you encounter that in your practices, and what do you do to help people through that? Anybody jump right in there. Okay, Shane.
Well, I think again, everybody's spoken about programming, and that would be one of the biggest things in the lives of the people I work with. Trading what's really precious and important and sacred for the opinions and expectations of other people. Again, it's that whole going outside of yourself, giving your power away, and that is the biggest problem within people's lives today. It's trying to please everybody else and not ever knowing what you really want. And that, how do you solve that? You point people within, and you show them who they are, what they're truly worthy of, and then push them out of the nest like a baby eagle.
Very good. Anyone else want to chime in on that?
I would actually help people, as Shane says, turning people back to themselves and finding themselves. In my practice, I help people to really get a very good sense and a very good knowing of their true nature, really getting them in alignment with their soul's true essence. And once we're actually fully in alignment with the soul's true essence and our soul's purpose, then everything starts, all of the problems start falling away, you know. And it's interesting that we did, you know, like with the subject of surrender. I see that surrender, the pathway of awakening has two aspects, the yin and the yang. We have the absolute reality and the relative reality. Now, the relative reality is where we would show our conviction and commitment to a pathway, but it's also in the relative reality where we also experience all of our, you know, our trauma and our suffering, our joys and our connections as a human being. The absolute reality, of course, is the concept of the pureness of consciousness, the soul's dimension, and surrendering to that, surrendering and understanding the soul's nature, the pathway of being able to be in alignment of that understanding of not only surrender but also forgiveness, is through meditation. Meditation is the turning inward and finding that that within there is this beautiful, vast, empty void where we can keep on diving deeper and deeper into that rich darkness. That's not a darkness of fear or peace, but it's a place, this ocean, this abyss of true peace. And what that ground is within is the essence of our eternal self. You know, this has been a 14 billion year journey for all of humanity and all of existence. And when we follow that thread back, follow that back through the eye of the needle, we go back to the beginning before time ever existed. There is the void, the infinite, eternal and boundless sense of the peace that we're searching for, everything that we're doing to try to get here on the human dimension, on the relative reality. And you know, we keep on struggling and with trying to work it all out, as we've all shared here. But to be able to surrender into the true nature of our being, into the absolute reality, knowing the soul's true nature, it totally sets us free. It is the true pathway of freedom and liberation. And what comes in that is everything. Forgiveness is embraced. All emotions, good or bad, all energies, all things is embraced in the present moment, because we have this awakening or this self-realization that who I am is not this limited human self. I am this grand, great, magnificent expression of divinity, of light and of love. We are here to love, to be seen. So with anything, being in alignment with our soul's true nature, it sort of like covers, it's the umbrella that covers everything, all the struggles.
Yeah. When what I find interesting, right, piggybacking on that, is when you ask someone, who are you? They'll say, I'm a mailman, I'm a wife, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a corporate executive, and they list all the things that they do. But that's what you do. Who are you? And I sense that all of you, your mission is to help people get past that and help people discover who they are and their true spiritual soul self. And that's an awesome thing.
And
awesome.
When it's not until all the labels fall away. So who am I? And we can go for hours and hours I'm a female, I'm Australian, I'm a mother, and it's not until we exhaust, again, same things, we exhaust all avenues of who I am, and then when all the labels have fallen away that identify us as this human being, then in the space of no more labels, just the emptiness, the blank slate, then there's the true nature of being, who we truly
Indeed. So we have about 5 minutes. And is there any last summary statement that each or any of you would like to say? Michelle?
Yeah, I just want to say, well, thank you so much for having me here. And it's been great to listen to all of you share your experience and your approach. I love all of it. I just wanted to add, when we speak about awakening and healing, something that's really helped me and that I'd like to say to my clients a lot is, it's really helpful to realize that there's no way that you can't heal and there's no way that you can't awaken. Just living your life is enough. And sometimes we feel, like Robin's mentioned, all this pressure and this fatigue of trying. It's just worth remembering that the natural evolution of the human is towards awakening. The natural evolution of consciousness is awakening, and healing is part of that, and suffering less is part of that, and experiencing grace is part of that. All of these things are natural. There's nothing actually that we need to do. And sometimes it's great to just sit in that, okay, I'm just going to be Michelle today. I'm just going to live my life, and it will happen. And often it's those moments when that to me is what surrender really is about. It's just be yourself, just live your life, and it will happen. You're muted, Deb. You're muted.
I forgot that. Thank you. I said, who else? Do we have one more closing remark from everyone, or we're feeling pretty complete? Don't be shy. Okay, Angela.
I'll say something. One of my favorite quotes is, don't let your knowledge, be wasted. Go out and do something now, right? Take action. If someone you've seen on the festival you align with, reach out to them, follow them, as I started the talk with. Tell them they're awesome and you want to work with them, because it's no use just, gaining all this knowledge if you don't actually act on it.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay, Delphine.
Yeah, hi. I think at the end of the day, we just want to ask yourself, do you love enough? But you can't love others until you love yourself. So accept and love yourself. Do you love enough? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful pearls. Well, we're just on the cusp of entering into the next session, and we have some speakers lined up. Delphine, Robin, Shane, Angela, Michelle, thank you so much. This has been wonderful exchange, your individual presentations, and then your sharing together. Wonderful. And again, I encourage you to come back for the closing at 3:30 if you can, and watch for your certificates in the emails. And we'll be sending some information to you if it draws you to be able to work to extend this kind of work and this outreach to others. We'll be sending information of how you can actually do that. Okay. So again, I thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for being a part of my life.
Thank you, everyone.